Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an improvised video that I've just created in the past 4 minutes. I'm here with, what's your YouTube name? Garlic Bread Loaf?
Galaxy's best pig fishing player. That's not my YouTube name, but maybe it should
Alright,
be.
I still beat him sometimes at pig fishing. But today we're going to be doing
You
a,
have never beaten me in pig fishing.
we're going to be doing a, tier list on Hypixel party games.
Do you know how to edit?
First, we're going to get over, a couple of the garbage ones. Personally, I don't think this, actually...
Personally, I think
Let's just be frank.
just go like
No,
first to
nobody
last.
loves the Hopper one,
Yeah, it is ping dependent, just completely.
and I think the second one that should definitely go in this tier
RPG
is
16.
no RP. That's not that bad.
It's so bad.
The hit 'em off one. This one is so we have the fish knockoff one. This one is literally 100 times better than the ice one. The ice one is just painful because then you just slide everywhere. It's terrible. We're gonna put this one in a solid B tier. I enjoy it. There's a little bit of strategy that goes into it. It's not very like ping based, but it's all right. Next, we're gonna go up with a couple of my personal favorites. I love the it's super quick. What do you call this one? The block one.
Jigsaw Rush.
It's super quick. Doesn't take that long, and it requires very little skill. You just look and place where it's supposed to be. That's why it's a solid B tier. Then we have the ship one. Honestly, it's in between a C and a D. I'm gonna give it just a D. There isn't really much strategy into it. Everybody just cheeses it, and it's really boring at the start. Not very fun. E tier, Anvil. Not fun at all. Doesn't make much sense. It's just running around pretty much praying. Then we're gonna have the Moo Moo Madness. I call this a solid A tier game. Would you agree? Just because it's iconic.
Ooh, that's lawn mowing, brother.
Lawn mooing. I've played every single one. I just don't know the names.
I know all the names.
Do you agree that this is an A tier? Well,
That is one of the very, very party games that I enjoy playing. Absolute A tier.
I think the solid factor in this is just how satisfying it is to see all the grass get chopped up in rows. It's amazing. We're gonna put the dropper game a solid C tier. It's not too difficult. They give you so many assists, but it's pretty quick, and it requires a little bit of strategy. Solid C tier. C tier's the middle, by the way. The garbage slash hub, it's just trash ass games. In D tier, we're gonna go with Jungle Jump. It's just a less satisfying version of eventually the other jump game, which we're gonna put in C tier just because of how it's really like it's not even close half the time. Like, well, it's like pretty much ping dependent. If you get there like literally a split second before the other person, not super enjoyable. Next, we have the farm animal game.
Animal slaughter.
I give it a solid B tier. It requires a little bit of skill.
That is possibly the one I agree the least with,
uh,
because minus 50% haunts my nightmares.
honestly, it does to me too.
They
I
run in front of other animals, and like they are an insta kill. So
last time I did play this, I didn't have too many issues, but I have had it happen to me in the past. That's why it's going to be a low B tier. Barely out of C, but just because of how satisfying it is, and just how like it takes a little bit more skill, and you can beat out those players that pretty much do jack shit. Ice Fall. We're gonna give it
I think that's called Avalanche.
Avalanche. We're low C tier. Half the time, it's just like really luck based. The snowballs don't always fall straight, and you get bullshitted out of it half the time.
Yeah, they curve under the
Not
under the cover points.
not very fun. I think next we should do the spider game. We're gonna give it a high D tier just because it's really simple. It's very RNG based though, which is why it's down in D.
Simplicity doesn't make the game bad, but I do understand. how it's very RNG based.
Simplicity can either make or break a game, right? Like with Lawn
True,
Mower.
it does make the game completely hit or miss.
Painters, it's gonna be a mid D tier. Really, it should really go over Jungle Jump, but it's a mid D
Oh yeah,
tier.
egg painters.
It's not great. Nobody
That
really
is.
likes it. It's really RNG based, just based off who's gonna attack you. Um, yeah, I think we give a high C tier, maybe a B. Do you want a low B tier?
I would say C at lowest, at highest, because you do bounce off other sheep, and in 1v1s it does devolve to just camping and hoping the other person dies.
I would have to agree with that statement. Couldn't have said it any better. Like, it requires a little bit of strategy. It's like the popular IO game Slither.io, but really,
I don't think heads bounce in Slither.
it's in Minecraft and it isn't as great. I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go very low B tier here for the chicken flying game. It requires some skill. I personally like it, but it's
The,
super ping. It's super ping dependent, which I know Garlic's gonna be all up in my face about.
I do think I do like that one more because it has skill as a major point, and it's not too RNG dependent. Aside from where you start and when you go through rings, and sometimes they just don't give you speed. But my one major issue is one, going up and down is horrendous. I kind of hate that with my entire soul. And drifting is garbage. I I played Mario Kart after this, after playing this game once, and it gave me
Gave him depression. Um, I think we should go with the lava floor game.
hemorrhoids is bloody proof.
Lava floor game is a mid C tier. It's one of those
Volcano.
it's one of those average games that really you can't go wrong with. It's enjoyable, but in the end it's just kind of like a rebranded what do you call it, spleef, and it doesn't have
What?
too much substance to
It's
it.
more like I would say TNT Run is more accurate comparison.
It's not like one of those unique party games. It's one of those party games that's pretty much been copied and pasted throughout the years, but everyone still enjoys. That's why it's getting a mid C tier. Um, ho ho ho. I enjoyed this game just simply because of how chaotic it is, and eventually once you get your ass handed to you, I usually hand the ass out to everybody, but I got my ass handed to me once, and I just sat on the sideline chilling.
It's
Um,
not very enjoyable if you get targeted by too many people.
if you get targeted by too many people, but it requires some strategy, especially with how you have to block off in the first place. And it's personally one of my favorites just because of I'm good at it. Um, Low B tier. Actually, I think it should probably be mid B tier because these two here are just very low B tier.
I would personally say pig fishing is higher. I understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
Not pig fishing, chicken rings.
Low or let's
Lab
high.
escape.
Yeah, I think it's really just kind of a. I
It's
think
kind of based on which hotkeys you have. If you have inconvenient hotkeys for those slots, you just can't change them, which does not make it very fun. So
yeah.
either you have to reset hotkeys or just be slow.
As a man who really doesn't use like any hotkeys, I'm a solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guy. Which I have big hands. It works out for me. Some people who don't have some big problems with this, and I feel them. Man, it's not great. Which
Four is my second key.
yeah, that's odd. But I find it slightly enjoyable. It's just one of those like just kind of one of those like turn off your mind, click block, which is why it gets itself a D tier. It's not like it's honestly it's too simple for what it really should be. That's why it's a D tier. I think we're gonna go like middle of low C tier here for the minecart game. It's very ping based, very luck based, and it would literally it's based off those first couple of seconds.
Even with I personally think it's ping based and luck based to a lesser degree than some of the other ones you put around the same level or higher. But the arrows don't shoot from your head half the time. And it is definitely very reliant on who shoots your blocks for you.
I have to agree. It's pretty like I call it questionable. It takes me a couple seconds to dial in because it shoots pretty much from your chest, which in the end really screws up most people, and that's why it
Shoots a
gets a
little
C
bit more
tier.
from like 4 blocks behind your head.
True, that's not from your chest. It's pretty much behind your head. We're given the RPG pig game mid D. I enjoy it personally because it takes a little bit of skill and the wire guided makes it kind of an interesting game, but it's really based off of AFK players and how hard you can kill steel. Isn't
Yup.
too great, but I think it goes over lab escape anytime because it you don't just sit in a pipe and go down. Now obviously S tier pig fishing. Everybody loves the strats for this game. I have to
Very little RNG.
I have to admit, it's very luck based. Actually,
What?
no, it's not very luck based. The only luck that you have is if you can get the first pick. But after that,
Getting the first pig doesn't actually matter most of the time because
it
even if you get unlucky and don't hook the first pig, most people don't actually know the rhythm to consistently get pigs in late game. So then you can just keep hooking in pigs one after another, and they can barely only get a few.
yeah.
Because
And
even if you have high ping, later in the game, there's enough pigs to go around, and most people don't really know how to play. So
that's why we're professionals. Now, the crafting game personally one of my favorites. That's why I give it here a high B. Um,
workshop is very good.
it's like pig fishing and the fact that you don't have too much RNG. The only RNG is where the blocks are, right? And
But that's the same for everyone, so
you just
it doesn't affect too many people, really.
it's one of those quick you need to use your mind type of games.
It is almost completely based.
Yep. Pig battle arena. Pig
Jousting.
pig
Pig
jousting.
jousting.
I think this is a mid B tier game because in the end, if you just I what I do personally is I go try to get a early kill and then find all the people camping in their corners. Nowadays, the strategies are so refined for this game, and it's pretty ping dependent at times, especially in a 1v1, but it's just a lot of chaos, and in the end, if you do well, you do well. I I, I,
Personally,
I like the game. I like it.
my experience with the game has been very different. Camping is extremely prominent, and unless you're going out specifically to find those, you either score very low or you win the game, and there's not much in between. Um, th- because you do heal a lot of health on kill. Obviously, kill stealing you need to be much better at kill stealing, pull it off, because otherwise they're just going to heal back to full and then murder you. But it does require skill, and I will acknowledge that.
That's why it's one of my personal favorites. Now, the the trampoline game. I've always liked
Trampolino.
this game just because it's satisfying to bounce up and down, up and down, up and down. In some times it's ping dependent because you look like you get there, but server says no, and a bunch of stuff like that. But I love the game. That's why I'm gonna give it the second A spot on this list.
On top of ping, it's a lot of the hitboxes are a lot different to what you'd expect. So ping is mostly like other people steal your points, but if you just the hitboxes are really a lot smaller than the wool makes it look. So a lot of times if you jump into it, it's just not going to pick up.
Yeah, for me it took some adapting to, but after playing party games for a while, I've been able to figure it out. Which leaves us to our last one, bow shooty shoot.
actually don't even remember what the game's called. I think it's
I
Marksman.
I don't have many things to say about this game. It's a standard, mostly skill based game. If you get you have to get a bunch of the golden boys. If you don't get the golden boys, go for the TNTs.
I'd say
It's
TNT honestly takes priority because you can either chain TNT zombies to get insane amounts, or you can get like large clusters of armored zombies and skeletons, and just like it's not a time based game. It's a points based game. So if you reach a certain point, you win. So even if you're really close, someone could steal a TNT zombie and catapult into first place.
that's the main point about it. 50 points to me seems really low, especially with how many golden
The
boys get out on the
armored
field.
skeletons give 20, so
Yeah, it's
not the number I would pick.
personally 75 100 seems more reasonable for me, but that just creates a longer games. I think the short gameplay, the fast pace, and you having to be a good marksman really thrust this up into a high B tier finish. It's not my favorite game, right? Is it over pig jousting? Probably not. But it is one of those solid games that you can go and get into it and realize, hey, I might be able to win this one. Then get absolutely brutally destroyed by the kid who hasn't left his gaming chair for the past 16 hours and is currently running on 15 scoops of G Fuel. Um, so this is the compelling list. I hope you had enjoyed the compelling list. Uh,
Compelling list.
if you want to see more lists like this with different topics, like political activists, presidents, video games in general, I don't know,
And
maybe
cunning linguists, of course.
cunning linguists, maybe even a couple of hot cartoon characters. I don't know. Uh,
Personally, I would be more than willing to rank every STD.
um, leave a comment down below. Like and share this video with your friends. Don't actually do that. Just leave a like. And hasta luego, bitches.